Hello, this is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network. Today, day 2 of the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo 2024 in the Innovation Showcase of the Future in Flight Plaza. Today, we're visiting with Grant Hoover of Aileronics with their product Sentinel, which is going to be quite a safety feature for us in the future. Good afternoon, Grant. Great to have you here. How's it been going so far?
Good afternoon, Brian. Thank you. It's been going great. So we've been seeing a lot of great traffic here. We're glad to be at Sun and Fun, and we can't wait to keep on going on with the show and seeing what it has in store for us.
Oh, great. And that's the kind of thing we like to hear, because we want you to come back next year, and we understand you may have some new products too. But we're going to look at what you've got so far. We're going to let you tell us about what you have, how it came about, and I guess where you see its future being, and go from there.
Great, thank you. So at Aileronics here, we're developing portable electronic devices for pilots that make the sky safer. So safety is really the core of our company. Sentinel is the product that we're working on now. It's a computer vision co-pilot device that you install in your airplane, and it provides a visual situational awareness boost for all of our pilots that use it. And really where this came from was a look at technology, right? So it has a lot of great capabilities that's been bringing over to the pilot and the GA market for years now, but it does bring attention into the cockpit rather than outside. And so even in the US, even today, we see dozens of yearly fatal accidents due to not visually identifying traffic, mountains, weather, visually identifying information like that. And we're trying to directly address those problems with Sentinel. And so we've developed this product that looks out. It takes images of the outside environment. You mount it on your windscreen, and then we use some custom AI processing to pick out airplanes, birds, airborne hazards and objects that we're trying to identify that then the pilot can see. And
so that's a great product, Grant. Now it sounds like you're mounting it to the windscreen, so it doesn't necessarily depend upon what aircraft you're using.
No, it does not. So really, portability is the core of our design profile here, and that gives us not only the ability to use it in almost any airplane, it can be moved around easily and transported to any airplane, but also the pricing model. So with it mounted inside of the aircraft rather than outside and permanently installed, we can keep pricing down to about the price of an iPad, so it can be affordable for almost any pilot.
Okay. That sounds great. It's like, hey, driving to the airport, let's have it in car mode, and can make sure we don't hit anybody or cows on the way. Okay, great. So this is the current unit. I'm going to do some pointing because I've looked at this. The camera, that is wobbling all over the place when it's searching. And then, was it a 3-degree gimbal?
Yeah, so it's a 2-axis gimbal. Okay. We have pitch and then roll to keep that level as the airplane banks and pitches. And then we have a 180-degree field of view that we capture with a motor here to be able to get the ultra-wide field of view that we need for the whole horizon.
And I think it was a 25-degree up and down, and that's just normal for the camera lens.
Exactly, yeah. So the 25 degrees gets us about at a half mile. We can see 1,000 feet above and below. Okay. And so close range, we can still get the vertical field of view that we need. And then outside of the airplane then, this current prototype here that we have sees out to 5 miles, and then we're targeting 10 miles for the production unit.
Okay. Now I haven't lifted up myself. How much is that weighing?
So this only weighs about a pound, slightly over a pound. So we're in the prototyping phase, we're beta testing it, we're continuing to iterate, and so as we continue we'll get it smaller, we'll get it lighter and more compact. So this is what we have now and we think it's excellent, but before we move to production and really release it to the wide pilot community, we think we can get this even smaller and even lighter.
Okay. Are you using like a suction cup to adhere it to the windscreen?
Exactly, yeah, so because it's a portable device, the mounting mechanism is very easy and straightforward. We can either use a suction cup to mount it directly to the windscreen, or we also have a separate mount that we use for frames if you have like a frame member on your windscreen to directly attach it to.
So I guess you have to be aware of any curves in the windscreen with the suction cup. Okay, it's got a leak, so.
Yeah, similar to if you mount the iPad on the windscreen, but suction cups nowadays have some allowance for that curve, and so we found so far that any windscreen we've needed to attach it to, we haven't had a problem with.
Okay, great. Great. And power-wise, it's USB powered?
Yeah, so we can either power it with aircraft power or a battery. I don't have the battery in hand now, but it's a pretty small unit, about this size here, a little bit smaller. That'll last about 4 hours, or we have an additional attachment that we can add on instead, and that'll power it indefinitely directly off the aircraft power.
Okay, great. And so it's finding something. How does it inform the pilot that I found something?
That's a great question. So because it's portable, we don't have it directly interfacing with like a Garmin or any kind of installed avionics package. It's all through the iPad. And so it interfaces with any popular EFB app that we use. We're using a standard ADS-B traffic protocol to be able to move that data into your iPad moving map display. And then as we continue to progress and partner with those EFB app developers, we'd like to see some additional direct integrations to add in additional information that you wouldn't see with like an ADS-B like traffic fix, so image data, items like that.
Okay, great. How's the accuracy of that coming along?
Yeah, so I mean, there's still more testing to be done, but the accuracy we've seen has been great, but we need to continue to test it. So mostly what we're focusing on are aircraft and birds right now. So we've been able to build some good in-flight testing time and get good positive traffic fixes that show up on our iPad. And so really the difference between ADS-B and our product is with ADS-B, it needs to be participating aircraft that show up on your screen. So aircraft with transponders and communicate with a ground station. Whereas with ours, because we can see anything, whether it has a transponder or not, we can see Piper Cubs flying around without a transponder, or a large bird, or really anything in the air that we can train it on, we'll be able to see and send that information over to you. We supplement the ADS-B data. So when we determine our traffic fixes, we'll see if there's any ADS-B fixes as well that we've already identified through ADS-B. Instead of duplicating that traffic, we can either take it out and not have it as an additional traffic fix, or if we have that image data that we can send along, we can just add that along with it, and that's future state. So right now, because we're just using the ADS-B, there's no allowance for image data, so we're just looking at that traffic fix, but in the future we definitely want to add that image data to the ADS-B fixes.
Where do you think, you're talking about making it smaller and everything, are we looking softball size, golf ball size? And in what kind of time frame?
Yeah, great question. So we're targeting, if you can think of the security camera, so right now we have a lot of the hardware and the moving pieces out and in the open, which works well for us now, but as an end unit, we don't want to have that. We want to have it all self-contained and just easy to pop in and not have to worry about. And so we're looking at about like a CCTV camera with the little dome structure. So if we look at this hardware unit right here, we're targeting about half this size. And for the compute side of it, where we have the imaging component and then the actual processing component, we believe that we can get this integrated into the imaging component itself and have it all as one unit.
Okay, great. And what kind of warranty is going to have on it?
Yeah, great question. I think a lot still to be determined. So because we're in the beta testing and prototyping phase, there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of things that we're working towards. I think in terms of, you were asking about timeline, and so we're starting up a wider open beta testing program now. So if anybody's interested, feel free to reach out. And we're looking at holiday season or so next year as a target date for when we want to start looking at releasing this to everybody. But of course, with the development schedule, anything can change, and as we learn more, we'll definitely update accordingly.
So anybody that sees this and walks up to say, hey, I'd like to do the beta, you could put them on a list here?
Exactly, yeah. So we're at booth 11 at the Innovation Showcase tent at the Future in Flight Plaza. Glad to be here. We have some QR codes at our booth here if you want to take a look at the units themselves, but then also if you scan the QR code, then you can add your name and email to our list, and we'll keep everybody in touch.
Oh, great. Okay, goodness. Well, I'm looking forward to you being here again next year and seeing this getting smaller and smaller, and maybe even some more variations on using that technology in other places other than just flying, using it on the ground. Thank you very much, Grant. This has been very informative. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I'm glad you're here, and I want you to come back. And this is Brian Purdy with the Florida Aviation Network, live and in the clear from Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo 2024. Have a great day.